Ladies, today I stand before queens, women of strength, vision, and endless possibility. We are taught to search for keys outside of ourselves, to wait for a door to open, for permission to dream, to achieve, to reign. But I am here to remind you, you already hold the key. The kingdom is not a distant fantasy. It lives within your mind, your heart, your voice, and your hands. The key to the kingdom is your belief in yourself when no one else applauds. It is your resilience when the storm tries to steal your light. It is your compassion that mends what the world tries to break. It is your vision that builds bridges over walls. It is your daring to speak when silence feels safer. It is your wisdom to choose your path, even when it's less traveled. It is your self-love that says, I am worthy of every good thing. The castle gates are not locked to you. They are waiting for you to step forward with boldness, with grace, and with the unshakable knowing that you are enough. Today and every day after, walk with your head high, your spirit open, and your hands steady. Because your key is ready, and your kingdom awaits. Not too often, we are raised with the idea that we must wait for life to give us permission. We wait for the right opportunity, the right title, the right relationship, the right moment. We are taught to believe that the key to success, happiness, and fulfillment is something external, something we must chase, or something that someone else must bestow upon us. But that is not the truth of who we are. The reality is far more powerful. The key is already within us, and it has been there from the very beginning. Inside each of us is a wellspring of strength, intuition, creativity, and resilience. These are not qualities we need to acquire. They are our natural inheritance. They live within us, often quietly at first, but fiercely and faithfully. We don't need to earn our power by achieving a certain milestone. We don't need to wait for someone to validate our worth or appoint us as capable. From the moment we draw breath, the key to our kingdom is placed in our hands. This inner key is fashioned not from perfection, but from authenticity. It is not about being flawless or always right. It is about being real, being true to yourself, even when the world expects you to shrink, bend, or conform. Your key is activated every time you choose yourself. When you listen to your own voice above the noise, when you trust your instincts over doubt, when you dare to define success on your own terms. So many women spend years believing they are missing something. They believe they must become someone better or more prepared before they can step into their dreams. But nothing could be further from the truth. Growth is beautiful, yes, but you do not grow to be worthy. You are worthy first, and because you are worthy, you grow. Your key was never hidden. It was only ever waiting for you to recognize it. When we realize the key is within us, everything shifts. We no longer have to beg for seats at tables where we were never meant to belong. We build our own tables. We create our own paths. We stop asking for permission to dream, to lead, to thrive. We understand that the doors we seek to open are not guarded by anyone else. We carry the lock and the key simultaneously. The only task is to believe in our own hands. This understanding frees us from comparison too. If the key is within, then there is no competition for it. It does not run out. Another woman's success does not diminish yours. It proves the doors are real and ready to be opened. Every time a woman claims her key, she shows others that they can too. Our power multiplies when we recognize it within ourselves and honor it in one another. Your key is not flashy or loud. It might not come with trumpets or grand announcements. Sometimes it shows up in a whisper, a gentle knowing, a quiet bravery, a small step that leads to a giant leap. Sometimes it looks like walking away from something you have outgrown or daring to stay when the world tells you to run. The key is inside your everyday choices, your smallest acts of courage, your steadfast refusal to abandon yourself. You were not born to be locked out of your life. You were born holding everything you need to open the doors meant for you. Every dream planted in your heart was given alongside the key to make it real. Your only job is to trust that it's there, to reach inward instead of outward, and to walk forward knowing you already possess what you thought you needed to find. Believing in yourself is not simply a nice sentiment. It is a necessity. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Without self-belief, even the most extraordinary dreams will feel distant, unreachable, reserved for someone else. Self-belief is the breath that brings dreams to life, the unseen force that transforms invisible hopes into tangible realities. It is the sacred agreement you make with yourself that you are capable, worthy, and ready, even when the evidence around you is still unfolding. Self-belief begins quietly, often as a fragile spark. It might whisper in the face of fear, "What if you can?" It may show up not as loud confidence, but as the quiet decision to try, to stand up one more time, to step forward when standing still would be safer. Every great endeavor, every transformation begins with this simple yet profound act. A woman choosing to believe that she has something of value inside her, even if no one else sees it yet. When you choose to believe in yourself, you take control of your own story. You refuse to hand your narrative to those who doubt you, underestimate you, or seek to define your limits. You become the author of your own destiny, writing chapters that reflect your courage, your resilience, and your determination. Belief in yourself grants you the power to turn obstacles into stepping stones, to see failures as lessons, and to view setbacks not as endings, but as invitations to rise again. Self-belief does not mean you will never feel fear. It does not mean that you will not encounter moments of uncertainty, moments where the path seems hidden or the mountain seems too steep. True belief coexists with fear. It chooses action anyway. It whispers back to fear, "I hear you, but I am moving forward regardless." It reminds you that you are bigger than your doubts, stronger than your fears, and more capable than you have dared to imagine. It is tempting to wait for others to validate our worth, to expect someone else to tell us we are ready. But the truth is, external validation will never replace internal conviction. No title, no applause, no certification will ever mean as much as your own decision to trust yourself. Your self-belief is not contingent upon success. It precedes it. It says, "I am enough now, not I will be enough when." It stands firm even when the world remains unconvinced. When a woman believes in herself, she becomes unstoppable. She moves with a grace that cannot be imitated and a power that cannot be denied. She does not need to shout to be heard. Her presence speaks volumes. She does not need permission to rise. She rises because it is her nature. Her self-belief lights a path not just for herself, but for every woman watching her, every girl daring to wonder if she can too. There will be days when doubt creeps in. It is part of the journey. But every time you reaffirm your belief in yourself, you build a stronger foundation. You train your mind to trust your voice, to honor your dreams, and to recognize your own brilliance. Like a muscle, self-belief strengthens with use. The more you claim it, the more naturally it flows through every part of your life. You owe it to yourself to believe in your own magic. You owe it to the dreams you carry and the impact you are meant to make. Self-belief is not arrogance. It is sacred responsibility. It is saying, "I was created with purpose, and I will not waste the gifts I have been given." And without reservation, apologetically, and without reservation, because when a woman believes resilience is the quiet, unshakable force that lives beneath the surface of every woman who dares to dream. It is not flashy. It does not often ask for applause, but it is the reason we are able to rise after the fall, to heal after the heartbreak, to continue when the world expects us to give up. Resilience is what takes a dream from fragile to unbreakable. It does not eliminate pain or hardship. Instead, it teaches us how to move through them with grace and strength. Life will inevitably bring storms. Doors will close, plans will crumble, and there will be moments when the road ahead is clouded in uncertainty. But resilience reminds us that obstacles are not stop signs. They are invitations to grow deeper, to root ourselves more firmly in who we are. It says, "You are allowed to bend, but you are not made to break." It allows us to feel our pain without becoming it, to acknowledge defeat without being defined by it. Resilience is not born from an easy life. It is crafted in the fires of struggle, sharpened by disappointment, and polished by perseverance. Every time you have faced a hardship and found a way to keep going, your resilience has grown stronger. It is in the silent battles you have fought, the ones no one else even knows about, that your spirit has been fortified. Resilience does not erase hardship. It transforms it into power. There is a dangerous myth that strength means never feeling broken. But the truth is, resilience includes all the messy human moments, the tears, the doubts, the moments spent curled up wondering how you will ever rise again. Resilience is not about never falling apart. It is about gathering your pieces tenderly and bravely, and choosing to rebuild yourself each time, wiser and more powerful than before. Resilience gives you the courage to face rejection without internalizing it. It teaches you that a no from the world is not a no to your worth or your callings carry the town. It gives you the perspective to see failure not as a measure of your value, but as a necessary part of the journey. With resilience, setbacks become stepping stones and endings become new beginnings in disguise. It gives you the stamina to keep walking even when the finish line seems hidden by fog. Women who cultivate resilience become forces of nature. They are not hardened, they are softened in the best way, like river stones smoothed over time, retaining their strength but wearing it with elegance. They have the ability to show up with open hearts even after they have been bruised, to love deeply even after loss, to dream fiercely even after disappointment. Resilience teaches you that you are capable of surviving and thriving no matter what comes. Building resilience does not mean you do it alone. It means you reach out for support when needed. You allow yourself to be held when you are tired, and you offer yourself the same compassion you so easily extend to others. True resilience is a dance between self-reliance and community, between inner fortitude and the willingness to be vulnerable. It is the strength to say, "I need help," and the wisdom to know that asking for it does not diminish your power. Every time you choose to continue, to rise again, to believe again, to move forward again, you add another layer to your resilience. It is not about perfection, it is about persistence. It is about honoring your journey with all its twists and turns and knowing deep in your bones that you are being shaped into the woman you are meant to become. Powerful, compassionate, courageous, and endlessly resilient. Compassion is often mistaken for softness, as if kindness somehow weakens our ability to lead, to succeed, to stand strong. But compassion is not weakness. It is one of the greatest forces of strength we possess. It allows us to see beyond our own circumstances and extend understanding to others. It builds bridges where walls once stood. It reminds us that true leadership is not about dominance, but about connection, about lifting others even as we rise ourselves. At its core, compassion is an act of courage. It is choosing to care in a world that sometimes rewards indifference. It is daring to remain open-hearted in the face of pain, injustice, and betrayal. It is easy to become hardened by the difficulties we face, to shield ourselves behind walls of detachment. But compassion calls us to a higher way, to stay present, to stay human, to recognize the shared thread that runs through every life, even those who seem different from us. In leadership, compassion transforms the way we influence and inspire. A compassionate leader sees the person behind the performance, the heart behind the action. She leads not by fear or force, but by creating spaces where others feel seen, valued, and empowered. Compassionate leadership is not about sacrificing standards. It is about understanding that people flourish not under criticism, but under encouragement, respect, and belief. Healing, both personal and collective, is impossible without compassion. To heal ourselves, we must first be willing to offer ourselves kindness instead of constant judgment. We must forgive our own missteps, nurture our own wounded places, and allow ourselves the grace to grow imperfectly. When we extend compassion inward, we become capable of offering it outward, not from a place of obligation, but from a place of genuine overflow. Compassion does not require us to excuse harm or tolerate abuse. It requires discernment, boundaries, and wisdom. True compassion understands the difference between empathy and enabling. It knows when to lean in and when to lovingly step back. It allows us to love ourselves and others simultaneously without losing our voice, our power, or our dignity. Compassion sharpens our awareness and strengthens our ability to act justly. Women who lead with compassion redefine what power looks like. They show that leadership is not about being above others, but standing among them. They listen deeply, act thoughtfully, and inspire loyalty not through fear, but through trust. Their compassion becomes a beacon, calling others to rise higher, to be better, to believe in the goodness that still exists in the world. They create change not only through what they do, but through how they make others feel along the way. In times of division and despair, compassion becomes a revolutionary act. It is a refusal to give up on humanity. It is a decision to meet cruelty with courage, apathy with action, and hate with healing. It does not mean we ignore injustice. It means we confront it without losing our soul. Compassion gives us the stamina to keep fighting for a better world, fueled not by bitterness, but by the fierce hope that things can be different. Every woman who leads with compassion becomes a force of healing wherever she goes, wherever she goes. Her influence ripples outward, touching lives in ways she may never fully see. Compassion plants seeds of trust, safety, and belonging, seeds that grow into strong, resilient communities. It reminds us all that the most lasting power is not built by force, but by the gentle, persistent work of the heart. Vision is the ability to see beyond what is immediately in front of you, to imagine possibilities that others might dismiss, to dream up realities that have not yet been built. Creativity is the force that brings that vision to life, shaping dreams into tangible forms. Together, vision and creativity are two of the most powerful tools any woman can wield. They allow us to not only participate in the world as it is, but to transform it into what it can be. Too often, women are taught to be practical above all else, to minimize dreams, to stay within the bounds of what feels safe and acceptable. But practicality without vision leads to stagnation. Vision without creativity remains a distant hope. It is when we marry the two, daring to imagine and daring to create, that we begin to open doors no one else even saw. A woman with vision and creativity doesn't wait for opportunity. She builds it. Vision allows you to look at a barren field and see a blooming garden. Creativity gives you the courage to plant the seeds. Vision allows you to look at a broken system and see the blueprint for something better. Creativity gives you the hands to begin building. Vision lets you see your future self standing strong and radiant. Creativity gives you the tools to start becoming her today, piece by piece, step by step, no matter the arena. Business, art, activism, education, family, women who dare to envision new possibilities and create solutions become catalysts for change. They are the ones who start movements, open businesses, write the books, invent new methods, lead communities, raise empowered generations. They don't just accept what has always been. They ask, what could be? And then they set about making it real with heart, grit, and endless creativity. Creativity is not reserved for artists or poets alone. Every woman carries a well of creativity within her, the ability to think differently, to innovate, to weave beauty and meaning into the fabric of daily life. Whether you are designing a business, raising a family, organizing a community, or forging a personal journey, your creative spirit is the fire that keeps ideas alive when obstacles loom large. It is your secret weapon, your natural brilliance waiting to be unleashed. Vision, too, is not about having a rigid 5-year plan. It is about holding a living, breathing sense of what you are moving toward. A dream that evolves with you. It's the ability to navigate uncertainty not with fear, but with imagination. It's trusting that you have the right to want more, to hope bigger, to believe in possibilities beyond what others may think is realistic. Vision gives you a North Star, something to reach for even when the path isn't clearly marked. When a woman chooses to honor her vision and nurture her creativity, she becomes unstoppable. She stops waiting for invitations to tables that were never built for her. Instead, she crafts her own table, decorates it with her own colors, fills it with voices that inspire her, and then invites others to join her in building something even greater. Her life becomes a living masterpiece, painted in the bold colors of her own design. The world desperately needs women who will dream fearlessly and create boldly. Women who will imagine solutions where others only see problems. Women who will sketch new worlds with courage in one hand and compassion in the other. Vision and creativity are not luxuries. They are survival skills, leadership skills, and tools of revolution. They are the instruments by which women claim their space, shape their destinies, and open doors wide enough for others to walk through too. There is a certain kind of strength that only reveals itself when the way forward is hidden, when certainty has crumbled, and when every step feels uncertain. This is not the strength born from predictability or comfort. It is the fierce, luminous power that rises from deep within when everything outside feels unknown. Inner strength is not loud or boastful. It hums steady beneath the surface, quietly carrying us forward when logic says we should turn back. When the path ahead is unclear, many will falter, waiting for signs, for guarantees, for a neatly paved road. But a woman who leans into her inner strength does not wait for the fog to lift before she moves. She trusts something deeper than sight. She trusts her own intuition, her own resilience, and her own capacity to navigate through the unknown. She understands that clarity is often born from motion, not stillness. Inner strength teaches us that uncertainty is not our enemy, it is our teacher. It asks us to dig into wells of courage we may not have known existed. It calls forth resourcefulness, patience, and trust. Not trust that everything will go perfectly, but trust that whatever happens, we will be able to handle it. It reframes fear not as a stop sign, but as a gateway to greater discovery, expansion, and wisdom. There is immense beauty in realizing that you can stand strong even without a map, that you can walk forward even when the destination is hidden. It is in these moments, when you move without guarantees, when you build without blueprints, when you trust without confirmation, that your true power is revealed. You are no longer performing strength for the outside world. You are embodying it from the inside out. Women who embrace their inner strength during uncertain times are not fearless. They are courageous. Courage is feeling the fear, acknowledging it, and choosing to act anyway. It is saying, I don't have all the answers, but I will take the next step. It is understanding that missteps are not failures, but part of the sacred unfolding. It is knowing that your worth is not tied to how perfect the journey looks, but to how bravely you walk it. The unclear path often feels lonely because not everyone will understand your journey. Others may doubt you, question you, urge you to stay where it's safe. But your inner strength whispers a different truth, that you are not called to fit into old molds. You are called to carve out new spaces. You are not meant to follow paths paved by others. You are meant to blaze trails that inspire others to find their own way. Inner strength also teaches you to honor the small victories along the way. The decision to keep going when it would be easier to quit. The choice to trust yourself when doubt creeps in. The resilience to get up one more time after a stumble. These moments are not small at all. They are the true markers of transformation. Every uncertain step taken with courage becomes a thread woven into the tapestry of your becoming. As the path twists and turns, as doors open and close, your inner strength becomes a lighthouse, guiding you through the darkest nights and most confusing storms. It reminds you that even when everything else feels unstable, you are steady. Even when everything around you shifts, you have an anchor within. Your light does not flicker because of external winds. It shines all the brighter against the night, leading you forward one brave, beautiful step at a time.